Generic greetings and welcome to Transport Fever 2. Today's beverage is a winter wonderland coffee that is basically instant coffee with a mix of cinnamon, nutmeg and almond in it, just to make it a little bit extra seasonal, although to be fair it does still taste quite cheap. So this is Transport Fever 2, the sequel to Transport Fever 1, which in itself is sort of a sequel to Train Fever, games about transporting things from one place to another using various transport methods, so planes, trains, trucks, cars, all manner of vehicles. I believe there's over 170 vehicles in the game, spreading across many different eras. So I believe you start in sort of 1850. We're currently on the 19th of July, 1857. So the jet is still quite a ways away. And this is one of the free play modes on the standard map on the small size setting. You can obviously increase the size of it. You can go for different, I was going to say biomes, and that is technically correct, but more like different countries. And also there is a campaign mode as well. But I'm just going to show you a little bit of the game. I'm playing this several days before the release of the game. It's due out on the 11th, so it's not actually out as I record this, but either way, links in the description as always, so you can check it out yourself. Just a quick preview here on some of the game and little bits, but as I said, only a preview, not any sort of full review, because, well, I've only played about an hour and 3/4, so there you are. Either way, let's have a quick look at what we currently have going. If we go over to, let's go over to Bobby Tracy here, we can see that we have some symbols for the different routes. So obviously we've got, well, quick run down the UI, money on the left, earnings, which is quite good. We've got overall passengers transported as well as goods. We've got options for line manager, vehicle manager. I'll show you all those in a bit. Then we've got time controls on the right, obviously the jukebox as well as options for things like the overall industries, what is being produced where and what is the requirement, things like that. And you also have some overlays, so you've got things like land use, so how sprawling it is, and also navigable waters and such, which I was very excited to see we can go under that bridge, because when I went ahead and made these, I don't know why, but I really like ships in this game. I know I tend to gravitate toward trains and locomotives, but I do like ships in this game, and you can see we've got this annex here, which has got a lot of people being very, very good at queuing. They must be British, because they're all lining up in very particular orders. I like the little details, like you can see you've got the name on there, and you can actually click on these people as well. So there's Harrison Robinson, and it shows you like what their destination is. So it's industrial building via line 2. Line 2, we can click on that, and it shows you that. If we click on that again, it shows you where it's going to and from. So it goes from this annex all the way over to the Masham annex over there as well. So it is via this boat, which is currently steaming, got a full head of steam there, going towards our annex. We have 59 people out of 70 on it, and I believe this is my most profitable line. If I just check over on the, where is it, the line one here, we can see that overall balance we can see is positive for, oh, it is actually all of our lines there. This bottom one, line 8, was up here, I believe, in Tidworth. You can actually click on that and then just press the sort of go to button and it goes to it. I find that the UI is very, very slick these days. I've always had a couple of issues with the previous games where sometimes it can be, I have found it problematic to set the lines, whereas this, not so much at all, which is pretty good. You can see the line there in green, and you can rename the line. You can always rename it and change the colour of it and such. You can go to configure line there. There's your line manager. You can set up things like what route it's on. You can set up, it's going to pick up what the waiting time is, the colour, so you can say, right, I'm going to actually change that to like a purple colour or like a teal colour there. So you can do all of that, and you can rename it as well and search for line as well. So I can just go for line, in this case 5, that's not line, line 5, 4, there you go, that we got there in the end, didn't we? And you can rename it, as I said, change the colour. But anyway, over to here we can see that the boat is just coming in now, and loads of people are leaving it, and that's now got loads of people on it. So we've got 49 people on there, so that is excellent. And what will happen is these people will come out of the annex, because if we click on it you can see all of the routes for people to walk. That's all that it looks to be simulated. They'll come to here. They'll either walk into town or they will jump on this bus, which I have currently got, I say currently exploiting, but this is obviously what we're all about. We're transporting stuff. So they're going to come here and get on the bus and then come here. And you can see there's also symbols above each of these different stops like that. And we got Manchester Road, Queen's Road, Church Road, Manor Road, and also we've got some symbols like that there, like a little person symbol to show you how many people are waiting. So that one doesn't mean one. It actually just means it's like a low level. But if we go over here, for example, you can see there's 4 people, but that actually means 32. And when you get a big one like that, it actually means quite a lot. So I'm guessing each one of those represents 10 or under. So that'd be 10, 20, 30, 40-ish. 33. I don't know if that maths works out. But either way, we've got 57 people waiting at that. Right. To be honest, the size of this town, you could certainly walk anywhere you want. Although in 1857, I'm guessing it would be quite a bit dirtier than perhaps it would look now. And if you've got, well, if Ruby's walking with that gown on, I don't think it would be in as nice a state as it would be otherwise. Anyway, do we want to add more road vehicles around here? Let's see how many road vehicles we have. And it's quite easy to do. You just go to line 4. And there's multiple ways to click on the lines. And we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles on there. So I'm going to go over to our road depot over here, buy vehicles. I'm going to say stagecoach. We'll just put in another 6 on there, buy for 23,000, and then we have all of these vehicles, and we'll say select all, move to line number, what was it, line 4, and you can see it highlights the line. So if I'm highlighting over line 3, if it can get there, it will go there. So technically that would work. If I said to line 3, it could go from this depot across the bridge and down this way, and then join that. It wouldn't work properly because this is actually a freight line. Well, it's for goods rather than passengers. But for example, if I did the red line, which is line 1, it would still work. It would just take ages for them to get over there. So it's nice that it's sort of showing you that. Just little things like that make the game infinitely more playable than I've found in the past. As I said, I've always had some issues there, and it does seem to be fairly slick. Anyway, so those are now coming out, as you can see. So we've bought those. They're going to go around there. It is probable that we want to do the same thing over here, because you can see we've got loads of people waiting around here. So once again, I'm going to click on that one, line 1. We can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7? That's strange, isn't it? Configure vehicles. Do I need to change it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it adds it up there, doesn't it? So what I'll do, we'll say buy 5 more then. 5 of those stagecoaches, and then we'll say all, and then go over to line 1. Now, you can do it other ways, so you can go over to your line manager on the left, and it's currently saying line 4 because we've typed that in, but I can say click on line 1, it shows you all of the routes in there, and you go to, from there, how would you alter the thing? Oh, you would have to go over to that one and then select that line. That's your line manager, that's your sort of vehicle manager there. If you select, say, the road depot, that's where you can specifically buy them from that depot. I just find it easy just clicking that. But there's multiple ways of getting to where you need to go, so it's quite good there. So we're on normal time controls. How many people we've got waiting there? 40 people waiting at that place, and we got that boat, which is 49. If we check over on our earnings, as I said, it's 152, but we go at the line, we can see that everything is very productive. However, we have a slight issue, and that is due to the amount of wood that the Beauvais Tracy Forest is supplying. So we click on that, we can see it says 222 wood remaining. On this line, if we go to line 5, we only have 6 vehicles, 6 years old as well. So them horses are probably a little bit tuckered out, and we're only transporting a total of 24, and it's taking ages. So I reckon it would be better to put a train in. The reason for that is if you have a line going from there to there, this then produces, it says sawmill, so planks, I'm guessing. Yes, planks. Up from that, we have a machines factory which takes planks and steel, I believe that is. Steel, yes, and turns it into manufactured goods. Machines, in this case. So we can see we can bring a line from there, down to there, then across to there. So just have a sweeping curve and have the train doing that with sort of a route of 3. And that should be, hopefully, quite effective. What we can then do, up the top here, you can see we have a ore mine, 2 ore mines actually, followed by the steel mill, and down there we have the coal mine. So if we brought coal and ore to there, we can get steel, bring that down to there. So basically we're transporting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goods in total, followed by the machines, which the machines are, I believe, on the right hand side. Yes, on Masham. On a map like this, it's quite easy to see where stuff is. You can literally just, mark one, eyeball it, and see where it is. Otherwise, if you are wondering, you can go here, scroll down, and say, right, requires. Actually, there's no requirements. That says product. Is it on this one, or is it in the town one? Sorry, it's the town one. That is your industry, that is your town. So we can say that this town requires Masham. There you go, requires that. So once again, quite easy to find out where stuff is. You can click on that. It shows you all of the stuff like residents and all that. Workplaces, what the quality of things are. You can then say, right, go to that as well. It does say that that's air there, emissions rather. There is an emissions thing, and that's something that I'm not currently emissions there. You can see there's the emissions, and I'm not really too sure how that will affect things in the longer term. I just haven't played enough to get the grips with that yet. But either way, we are going to put in a line from here over to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line. I'm going to go to configure vehicles. I'm going to select all of those vehicles in here, and I'm going to sell them like so. I'm also then going to delete that line because, quite frankly, I don't need it. So line over of number 5. We're going to, how does one remove the line? Remove all, yes. Remove that line, yes. So that line is now gone. We have the road depots here, which I will use delete and delete that. Yes, I will confirm that. And you do get some of your money back, so that's fine. And now we need to put in some stations. Now, you might notice this box here. That's basically signaling that it's like, that's where you deleted something. So if you wanted to delete something and then place it back down, it sort of keeps the settings on there, which is pretty cool. But we're not going to use that. Instead, we're going to go over to our rail network here and then to buildings, and we have several different buildings. We're going to use a cargo terminus station on the left hand side here. I'm going to put it down to a length of track is, well, track length is 1. We'll probably have it as 120 meter track length. In fact, only maybe an 80 would probably suffice because we're not going to be carrying a lot, although that doesn't allow for much expansion. So maybe 120 is the way forward. So you can see when I move it around, it will sort of connect up. Now the connections are actually on the back of the station there. I don't know if you can see, and it goes there and it highlights in white when it is connected up to this bit here, so that is fine. It would actually fit in there. What I'm going to do is rotate around with N and M and then place it right at the back like so that is fully connected, and that's actually pretty much in the right place as well. What you can also do is go to configure and you can say passenger buildings, cargo buildings. So I can place a cargo building on, like, say, one of these sides here, and that will add the bit extra on top of it. The problem with that, I find, is that, quite frankly, I want to do that before I start placing it. So I want to say, if I place, this is just for a test, I know it's going to waste money, but place that there, configure that, go to cargo buildings, place a cargo building there, and then, well, now what? I mean, I'd like to shift it. Don't know if I can. It doesn't seem to be that I can, so I won't actually do that. But if I go back over to it, this is actually just a test for me because I've not tried this. It doesn't keep it. So that's a bit of a shame. Either way, yeah, you can do that, and then that would allow you to then connect up the roads. Maybe that's something I'll be playing with more later on, but anyway, that's now in. Over to the bit over here. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to extend the road, so I'm going to go over to roads here, and it's just a standard small road. I'm going to extend it down to there, and you can see that actually has the connections going in there, so it automatically does that. And it says tram track, keep, no, yes. We haven't got any trams on here. You've also got a way to upgrade the road as well, where you can say automatically upgrade to that, and it will do that. Collisions there because of the size of it, but we're not going to upgrade it, but I'm just showing you that it is in existence. We're going to go back over to trains. We're going to go over to a cargo station, modular train for cargo, and once again it'll be 120 meters with one track. This time we'll rotate it around to the other side like that, and then I'm just trying to get it so it connects up to that, which is now fine, and it will go in. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a tough one actually. We probably want it there, but it's not connecting up. What's the best way of doing it? Probably extending the road just a little bit more, I think. Like so. That should probably do it. Yeah. And you can see the massive cut-in that we're having to place. What if I build the road further down? Like that. Oh, yeah, because it connects up anywhere. So that's even better for our needs. For our purposes. There. Alright, so that's now in, and that is definitely assigned to that. Okay, or rather in its radius. So we're going to have to get a line from here over to there, and we're going to have to do it with not much money, so we may be borrowing some cash. I have paid $1 million back. You start off with a $5 million loan. So anyway, over to tracks, get the track, and then we'll click it from there, click and drag, and you can see the overall cost. Now, we want to probably build it in several stages. You don't, like a lot of games, place, say, the... you can actually alter the height of it as well, so that goes into a tunnel and such. You don't like place nodes, you basically just click and drag and it does its best from there. So ideally you'd want to do that because that has a tunnel there, a little bit of a cut there, and then that tunnel there. That tunnel there I believe is inevitable, although having it from here is probably manageable. Like, we'll probably just use the cut, although I do want to do that, and that is going to be pretty fine, I think, but it's going to cost a little bit more than we can perhaps afford, so I will get a loan for that one. Back over to building, rail, and there we go. You can say either use the cut, so that'll cut everything out, but that'll be ludicrous when you see what it's going to do. We'll say, no, we will have a tunnel. So there you go. We've got a bit of an embankment there going into the tunnel, and it's going over to there. So that is now fine. Right, we have a little bit of cash left, so we're going to go over to our train depot. You do need a depot in order to have the trains there, so we'll place the depot, I'll make sure it's rotated the right way around. So we'll place a train depot in there because it looked quite good, and then over to tracks, get a track, click and drag into that, and you can see it's connecting out. These numbers represent the maximum speed in, what is it in? Is it in kilometers or is it in miles an hour? I'm not sure. Anyway, so that is now in. We will go over to our line manager, create a new line from there and there. You just click on the symbols, and that's going from the Bovey Tracy to Bovey Tracy West. So it's going from there over to there. That is now fine. It's automatically changed it to line 5 because remember we deleted that one. Obviously, if you've got a lot of lines, which in this game you will, so you're best off renaming the lines. But yeah, for the purposes of this, it's okay. We're going to go over to our line manager. We're going to click on that. Actually, you don't even need to do that. You just click on that Domes, the manager. So the vehicle manager straight away. By vehicles, we want a D-13, so we'll get that one there. And then we're going to go down, and I'm just checking the stuff that it carries. So that's the one we want to get, the cargo type there, which is the logs. And it carries, how much does it carry? Capacity 4. So we want probably 6 of those. Oh dearie me, that's actually, that's quite a bit of cash there. Maybe not. Right. Okay, these things are expensive. I'm going to borrow a little bit more money, and this is something I wouldn't recommend you do. This is borrowing far too much. And there we go. And oh, hang on, no, that was a massive mistake on my part. I didn't do the right thing. Let me sell all of those. Actually, I could probably just edit that one instead, couldn't I? Configure vehicle. Do I want to do that one? No, I'll just sell it. What I actually did there was made a little bit of a mistake. I don't know if you noticed. Buy vehicles. We want to buy that, followed by the 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. I was buying 4 engines rather than the full vehicle, so I built up the train and then I bought 4 engines rather than the bits that I was yeah, anyway, so that's in there now. Oh yeah, you've also got the options for like steam, diesel, electric, multiple units like electric and diesel and things like that, and you can change over. It's just like a filter there. So we've got that, which is capacity 16. I don't think that is anywhere near enough, so we're going to make a yeah, we'll have it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can move them left and right like that. So if you had like a brake wagon on the back or something, then and you accidentally place it in the middle, then you can move it. Anyway, we'll have one of those because any more would be silly. Set to line 5, and that is going to come from here, and we'll see what it is like. In terms of the look of the game, I think it is fairly pretty. Don't really know what else to say. It's not like completely over the top. It's not cartoony. Very realistic. You can zoom right in there and see all the details. Nice. It's all gleaming, and yeah, it's a bit smoky, isn't it? Yeah. You can click on that. You can actually go to send it back to the depot, set the line. You can also check out and ride the thing like so. And you can see we are currently. If we're doing that, we're right on the smokestack here, but we're coming in to the line there, into Bovey Tracy, and you can see all the lumber, all the wood is being put on the side there. So you don't have to transport it from the place where you are next to, so you don't have to transport it yourself from there. If this wasn't connected up, so when we moved it, obviously it was highlighting white. If it was elsewhere, for example, it wouldn't do that, but in this particular case it does because we got it right next to it, and you can see that's loaded up, and naturally it's going to be very, very slow for the time being because, well, it's a steam locomotive from 1859 loaded with a lot of timber. But we're going to go on this thing and we're going to ride it, and as you can see, we are going to go through the line we've recently made. So this is line 5, shows you, it is kilometers an hour as it's shown on the right hand side there. So it's slowing down a little bit up here. It's this gentle up bank. Actually, that's probably not a gentle up bank at all. That's probably a very harsh up bank for this thing. And we are going to come through here. What if I press H? Does it do anything? Oh, it doesn't press a horn. 0 out of 10. Can't play again. Actually, that H might not be the button to signal a horn or anything. But there you go. There might be a horn in the game. And yeah, this is our tunnel. No ventilation shafts, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. We're not going to knock it too much for stupid accuracy because, well, I'm not accurate at myself, so I can't really knock it for that. And that is a line that has now been immediately profitable. If we go over to the line manager, we can see that our line 5, the newly made one, is yeah, it's pretty good. That is very, very good indeed. It also means I can repay some of that money because, quite frankly, having that much loan out is problematic. So that is now underway. We can see that the annex over here is still making money. When I originally put this boat in, I think it was the 3rd line I put in. I think I put buses around there, and I went, ooh, boats, and then put the boat in, and there was 4 or 5 passengers going between it. But eventually the supply met the demand. Hang on, is it the other way around? Either way, people were getting on the boat and going back and forward. So that is pretty good. This is now working. You see the profits are going down because it's taking into account running costs as it goes on. Let's go to repay some more there. You can see earnings says it's going down. It's not going down. It's just, you know, well, I guess it's technically is going down, but yeah, it's counting in the money that I'm sending back. This line here, line 8, is fairly terrible. This is our bus route, and it only just makes money, but it's enough for me to crack on with it because I don't know if you may probably won't have noticed because we haven't been looking at it too much, but all this here is an extension that the town has made, so it automatically expands based on like the amount of people that are going to and from it and everything else. So there's reasons for that. Other things I haven't really mentioned, on the top here you've got some warnings, so if I assign some buses to a cargo route, it'll say warning, you're transporting the wrong stuff. It'll probably do the same for bankruptcy. We haven't looked at the paint tools or the assets editor where you can just like place some trees, so there you go, we're just putting some trees in there quite nicely. You've got paint tools for changing the ground, you've got terrain tools for altering the ground with obviously brush settings. You have, what else do we have? Date speed? Don't know why I would alter that, but there you go, it's in there. And overall there's a context sensitive help menu, which I find is alright. Sometimes it doesn't, you would think, like you say, right, train stations, you click on that, it doesn't tell you this is connected to this, and yeah, some of it is, it's fine. Perhaps a little bit extra at times, like if it was not connected up. What does it tell you? So I used to need to connect it up or something like that. Anyway, all minor niggles. My main niggle, as is with all of these games, is performance. It seems to run perfectly fine at the moment, although we get a little bit of slowdown when we're close to the towns and such. But when we go over to things like, I don't know, over to buildings, for example, and then start coming around here, the frame rate absolutely tanks. I don't know why. It just, I mean, that is, yeah, I mean, I'm getting proper slowdown when I'm going near there, and when I'm like trying to build, say, like a road, it like, yeah, I don't know, it just seems a bit not as smooth as perhaps I would like. It's not a massive problem, it's just a niggle that, like I say, I seem to have followed the games pretty much from Train Fever. Transport Fever 1 was better, and I think they made improvements throughout that as well, and this seems to be better than that, but again, just don't know why it's there. Anyway, that has been a very tiny bit of Transport Fever 2. I very much like it. Like I say, all these little niggles aside, it seems to be very slick, easy to add stuff. The only thing as well, when you're on your lines, line manager, on say line 1, you've got all these here. I don't know how to alter the lines. You can change the load and unload and like things like that, but in terms of the positions, I don't know if there's a way to move the positions down. I tend just to remove the lines and then add them elsewhere. So if I wanted to say put Chester Road before Manor Road, you tend to have to just delete it and add it. Don't know if there's a way to do that. That might be on me. As I said, this is only a first impressions only, because I've played about 2 and a bit hours now. But so far, really enjoying it. I really like the UI, how slick it is. Very easy to place stuff on there, drag stuff along. The first couple of missions that I've played, the campaign, is like sort of in tutorial territory. Seems to be decently done. Happy with it. Told me what I need to know and all that sort of thing. like that it goes through the different eras and all that. So yeah, there's probably a lot here to see, and it seems to be fairly slick as well. Obviously, only first impressions, as I've mentioned several times, but I just want to make that perfectly clear. I'm playing this about a week before release, so maybe there's going to be some changes and improvements before it hits there, but as far as I'm aware, it's pretty much feature complete, and it's pretty much what you're going to get as well. So there you go, that has been a bit of Transport Fever. If you want to see more, then by all means let me know. I will be playing more, so almost certainly more videos coming to the channel, but let me know what you think and what you would like to see, etc. As always, hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.